Hi everyone, it's Stringsaway here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make Froakie's neck, or his little sack of bubbles. And I'm going to have to apologize because the way that I made the neck is pretty unconventional. Basically, I kind of winged it and wrote down what I did. The instructions are definitely not something that you would find published in a book. Like, it doesn't follow the usual way that things are written. But I'm hoping that with this video, I'll be able to show you what I did. And then hopefully that'll give you guys enough idea of how to basically wing it yourself, or basically make one similar enough. The way that the neck looks before it's sewed on is like this. So there's like this sack of bubbles and then a part that's pressed flat, and then the front two bubbles are like that, and this third one is actually made separately. And yeah, I'm going to show you how I did that. Also, just as a side note, I keep getting comments that are like, where are the rest of it? Where's the rest of the instructions? Sorry, I don't have time to film myself making the whole thing. I only film the parts that I think people will have a hard time with. So you'll have to go just to the website Stringsaway.ca, and then the rest of it is pretty basic. So just like working in the round, you'll find the rest of the free pattern there. If you know how to crochet in the round, you should be good. Okay, let's show you how to make the neck bubbles. So first thing that we're gonna do is chain 6. And then you do a turn chain, which is how I'm saying that we're changing directions. So one more chain, but really it's to turn the other way. And then we're gonna single crochet into each of those. And I know I'm going a little bit fast. My goal is not really to teach you how to do these types of stitches. It's just to kind of explain what I did. And then we're gonna turn chain again. And then next we're doing a bobble stitch. And I don't even know if what I'm doing is a correct bobble. And the way I did the bobbles was basically like an incomplete double crochet. So I wrap one around the hook, stick it under the stitch I'm working in, and then pull through those two. So just those two, whoops. And then now there's 2 loops on the hook. And I repeat doing that, working out of the same foundation stitch until there's 6 loops on my hook. So again, we'll wrap around, stick it in there, pull it through those 2, and then pause, and there's 3. So pull it through the 2 until now there's 4. This is 5. And again, these are all going in the same base. This is 6, and it does get pretty tight. And you do drop it sometimes. There we go. So we should have 6 loops on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you pull one through all of them. Okay. And then I did another stitch there like that. And then finally I slip stitch into the next one on the row here. Okay, so we've done 1 bobble and 1 slip stitch. We're going to repeat that across. So we're going to do another bobble into here. And again, until we have 6 loops on our hook. Pull through all 6. And then do another one to kind of seal it off, and then slip stitch into the next. And we're going to do 1 more. So we have 6 on there. Pull through. Tighten it off, and then finally slip stitch into that last one on our row here. Okay, slip. And then turn chain. And again, we don't count the turn chains as part of our rows. Each bobble on top, there's 3 stitches. And I know it's kind of hard to see with the lighting, but it's basically, there's like 1 on the side, the one that we made in the middle, and then the slip stitch into the next. So each bobble you'll have like 1, 2, 3. So across this row, there's 9 stitches that I'm gonna work out of here. So we did our turn chain, and then now I'm just gonna single crochet into each of those so that there's 9. And it is gonna be tight, especially because these are slip stitches. So try to work like kind of loosely if you can. I definitely had to do a lot of like shoving my hook in here, convincing it to go through. And again, sorry, this is not a professional pattern. I just kind of like did random stuff until it looked the way I wanted, and it doesn't really translate pretty on paper. It's not really a user-friendly pattern, but if you really want to make Froakie and you like how his neck looks, then this is what I did. And then turn chain. Okay, so we have 9. So now we're going to repeat what we did the last row. So like bobble, slip stitch, bobble, slip stitch along 4 times. And then we're gonna leave the last stitch in the row unworked. So here we go, we're gonna do a bobble. And then if you remember, again, we'll be working into these slip stitches later, so try to make them loose-ish if you can. So we're working into the next bobble now. And I hope I don't move this out of your view too much. When I'm doing this, I'm looking at the string itself. I'm not looking at my camera screen, so sorry if I move my hands out of view sometimes. Okay, we finished another bobble, and then here's our slip stitch into the next. Okay, next stitch, bobble again. This is bobble number 3. And slip stitch. And then we have 3 left. We're gonna bobble, slip stitch, and do nothing. Don't work into the last one. So bobble number 4. And slip stitch, and then leave the last stitch unworked. So turn chain. So we have, again, there's 3 stitches over top each bobble. So we're just gonna single crochet. Because we have 4 bobbles, it's gonna have 12 in the end. So 3, 6, 9, 12. So I'm just gonna single crochet along. It's gonna be pretty tight in some of these. Again, sorry, I know this isn't very user-friendly, but I don't have too much experience doing bobble stitch, so this is the best that I could do. And then we will turn chain. Ta-da! We're gonna work the other way now. So here we're going to single crochet 1 first. And then we're gonna bobble, slip stitch, bobble, slip stitch, bobble, slip stitch, etc. 4 times. And then decrease and then leave 1 unworked. Do 4 of these bobble slip stitches. So we're gonna make our first bobble here. Okay, so bobble, and then in the next one on the row, slip stitch into there, and then bobble again. Slip stitch into the next one. Just 2 more to go. Slip stitch, and then 1 more bobble. And slip stitch. Okay, so we've made 4 bobbles. There are still 3 unworked stitches here. We're gonna decrease in these 2. So there's a decrease, and then leave that last one unworked again. So again, not very conventional. Okay, turn chain. So for the next row, we're going to single crochet, decrease, repeat that 4 times, and then 2 single crochet at the very end. Here we go. Single crochet, decrease, and I'm just doing regular decreases here. I usually like to do the invisible decrease in the round, but the stitches are just so tight that I can't. Turn chain. So next we're going to be working into those 10 stitches. So decrease and then do a bobble in the next. Okay, but then instead of slip stitch into the next, I decrease these 2 into 1. We're going to decrease. Okay, and then bobble into the next one. And then decrease into the next 2. Then bobble one more time. So here is where it gets really weird if it wasn't already. Now you're basically just gonna single crochet around this entire thing. So the way that this works is this is like the back sack of bubbles. Now we're gonna just start working in the round this way. And there's no like specific place to stick your hook. Everybody's is gonna end up a little bit different how many stitches they end up after this round. What I did though was I'm gonna mark the first stitch that I did so that I at least know when I'm back to where I started. That's my stitch markers. And then again, I'm just like going around this whole thing. Let's see what we get to. So 25 is a number you can try to aim for, but again, it might be a little bit different for everybody. You'll find that you have 3 bobbles on the top and 3 on the bottom. And what we're trying to do is basically single crochets along those edges and then decrease along the sides here. So I'm gonna do 3 decrease. And you might notice I just randomly switched to invisible decrease. And then single crochet across the bottom. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're coming up to the other side, so I'm gonna do 3 more decreases up here. Let's keep it even if we can. I'm actually gonna do 4 decreases. You guys are gonna hate this pattern. Like, I know a lot of it is literally kind of made up. And then now that I'm back where these 3 are, I'm just gonna single crochet until I get to the end, and then we'll see how many stitches are there. Like, I'm literally not even counting. I'm just kind of winging it, and I know a lot of people don't like that. Okay, so here we are at the end, and let's see how many I ended up with here. 18. So if anyone's following along, I guess I did 18 there. Next, I'm just gonna do single crochet and decrease around until there's 10 left. So let's just do that. All right, here we go. So 1 decrease. All right, let's see how many we ended up with. 12. So I think I'm gonna do 2 more until I have 10. Like you can see I'm well past where I started, but I'm just trying to get there to be 10 stitches. Okay, so now we have a hole with 10 stitches because we made it that way. Basically just keep doing decreases until you get 10. At this point, get your fiberfill stuffing and stuff it in here. And then next what we're gonna do is just keep single crocheting in rounds until you feel that it's long enough to go underneath Froakie's head. Oh, I should also say one thing that I did before I stuffed it is just like stick out these little puffs a little bit, kind of jab them out, and that just makes them like nice and bubbly. And unfortunately, due to my technique, there are like some holes in here, so you really are probably gonna have to use white stuffing. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you will see whatever's through there. So for my size of yarn, I basically did single crochet for 3 rounds, and then that was long enough to reach the end of Froakie's neck. So we're at this point where we finished this like sack, and then we need to just extend it forward to get to the front part of his head to connect the back to the front. As you can tell, the rounds are totally messed up. So I'm just gonna mark that as my new number 1. I'm just gonna single crochet around 10 for 3 rounds, which is just 30 single crochets. We have extended our piece that's going to go under the neck, and then finally we just have to make these 2 baubles at the front, and then this last one is a separate piece that's sewn on, so we're almost finished. So we're gonna do a bauble, and then slip stitch, and then the other, so we have a bauble at one end, and then I kind of wanted the other one to be at the other end of it. So I found that it was too close, so I just did single crochet, and then I'll do the other bauble into here. So these ones have a little bit more space in between. Okay, there's our second bauble, and then slip stitch. And then technically you're done, you can stop here. I'm just gonna single crochet across here to get my yarn closer to the other end. And then I'll probably do like a little bit of a magic loop to close, just to pull them tighter together. Okay, so I just single crocheted until I was back over here, and then let's pull this yarn out. So you would like cut your yarn, and then you know how you can close with a magic loop or magic circle, and if you don't know how to do that, you can go watch my other video on that. I'm basically going to do that type of closure here. So I'm just going to pull the yarn through the outer stitch on some of these, because I like how it pulls it shut tight. So again, I'm just like looping this through. I have a pretty long yarn tail right here because that's what you can use to sew it to the body. And I just did it, I don't even think I need to do it all the way around, and then pull tight. And I just did that to kind of draw everything like a little bit tighter together. So we're done with the neck piece. I guess I better show you real quick how to do the last puff to go in here. Actually, I might do that in a separate video because it's the same puff that you use to make the nostrils. So I'm just gonna do that separate. I'll just show you how to make these nostrils and then that last one that gets sewn on. But yeah, here's how you make the neck. Sorry it's so unconventional. Hopefully that's good enough for some of you guys, or you're able to kind of make up your own version of these bubbles too. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.